Coming up, General Aviation to the rescue after Hurricane Florence. We'll show you how pilots are the front line in the aid efforts.
Plus, it's fly-in season. Check out Santa Fe and get ready for Carbondale and Gulf Shores.
And looking for a place to fly this fall? How about Back in Time? AOPA Live this week begins in just a moment.
Celebrate 20 years with Sonex Aircraft by building and flying your dream. Quick handling, fun, and capable kit aircraft models to suit your flying passions. Get the best performance per dollar with Sonex Aircraft.
This is AOPA Live This Week with Tom Haynes and Melissa Rudinger.
Hundreds of pilots are mobilized, working to help those affected by Hurricane Florence.
And General Aviation is taking a lead in the recovery and aid efforts, flying in much needed supplies to the hardest hit areas. Operation Airdrop has many pilots working out of the TAC Air at Raleigh-Durham International. A local group, Just Florence Recovery, is coordinating the donations and then helping load all of the donations into the aircraft. Operation Airdrop is handling the airside and delivery. They've gotten a great deal of support, ranging from private pilots in piston singles all the way to large jets. They've even had a NASCAR team's RJ filled up with supplies and flown out. It's an amazing volunteer effort by hundreds of people, funneling supplies directly to where they are needed.
We moved 29,000 pounds worth of materials yesterday, small planes. In fairness, we had an RJ loaded up with a lot of stuff, but we did get a lot of material moved out in large planes. I just came in earlier, 6 generators, brand new, showed up on a trailer. We took them from the trailer to a Baron, to a 210, and we got a couple other planes coming to take the other 2. So everything's just coming in and going out as quickly as possible. Obviously, with small aircraft, with GA aircraft, we can get into fields that are shorter and closer to the need. In Lumberton, North Carolina, they're literally unloading the airplanes onto boats and taking those boats to houses where people are stranded and running out of food and supplies. They just asked us for food, water, clothing, all sorts of materials like that.
If you'd like to help or donate supplies, get in touch with the group via Facebook. Search for the group Operation Airdrop NC Florence Relief 2018. If you're a local, just bring your donations to TAC Air at RDU. If you're not sure how to help, there are Amazon shopping lists curated by the group. Find those links on the Facebook page. You can buy the supplies they need off the list, and they will be shipped to the site to be flown out as needed. And you know, Tom, Airdrop is just a wonderful operation. We saw it in operation down in Florida.
Yeah, last year we both participated in those flights, and it was remarkable what general aviation pilots can do, the help that they can bring. Important thing is to stay coordinated. So hook up with an organization like Operation Airdrop or one of the others, and you can be really helpful.
Absolutely.
Well, yet another win in the fight against unreasonable FBO fees. Rocky Mountain Airport in Colorado announced they are adding a second FBO. The airport is another location on our list of airports with one FBO where AOPA members have complained about excessive fees. A second FBO means competition, which should lower prices and improve service.
Well, I think just like driving your car, if you drive down the street and Exxon is $3 a gallon and Costco is $2.75 a gallon, it gives you a choice. So, and by having a choice, that's good for the GA pilot. But also, I think just having the 2 FBOs compete against each other, they're going to get lean and mean and be able to cut costs and increase services and provide a better product for not only the GA but for all avenues of aviation.
The airport itself is also working to add tie-down spots so pilots can access the airport with minimal parking fees.
Yeah, the Rocky Mountain is one of our so-called self-help airports where the airport management has taken the initiative to deal with these excessive fees from an FBO.
Right, and as a result of the actions of adding a second FBO, we're going to remove them from our airport watch list. So that's really helpful. It kind of gets them out of the limelight a little bit.
Yep, making progress.
It is.
Well, the Land of Enchantment lived up to its name last weekend for the AOPA Fly In to Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Always loved the airplanes.
When people ask me why I do flying here in the States, obviously it's double the fun, half the price, because it's the community you have within aviation is just really good.
I think it's great. I think it's a good opportunity to get kids out to see aviation. see what kinds of planes we have out here.
Right.
Yeah, like the kids love it. I'd love it too.
They came from literally all over, some 4,300 of them. And yes, they loved it.
The idea of being able to get out of our little West Texas town and go to places like this in a reasonable period is really what motivated me.
It's actually pretty neat. I had never seen anything like this, so as for a first experience, it is pretty amazing.
Amazing food. Amazing music. And an extraordinary range of seminars on diverse subjects. Everything from drones.
So you want to fly, but you need a waiver. And you start to think, okay, do I need a waiver from what?
To taking care of your engine.
So if you are going to run lean a peak, make sure you have good baffling, an engine monitor, and balance injectors.
And of course, rusty pilots.
We're going to talk about the things that you need to be piloting the man.
Something for everyone. Like new aircraft owners Eric and Tina, who had just flown their newly purchased 172 from Virginia.
We are going to use it for more instruction. I want to get my IFR ticket. Tina wants to finish her private pilot certificate. Our daughter now wants to learn how to fly. We're trying to talk our son, who's 16, into learning how to fly, and then use it as a kind of a family plane until we're ready to step up to something a little bit bigger and quicker.
To 17-year-old student pilot Colton Jacks.
I've been a member of AOPA for almost a year now, and I've got to watch AOPA Live about fly-ins and such, and I decided that I really wanted to actually go to one, and the guy I flew with goes to some of them often, so I ended up coming up with them here to see what they're all about and learn more about flying and make sure this is my true passion.
Mark Baker sums it up.
Flying is all about inviting people out to an airport and celebrating aviation, general aviation. It's an exciting time to share stories, get some learning done, and bring out the general public and see how cool it is to be in general aviation.
Really was a great fly-in, Tom, and the weather was spectacular.
It really was, particularly after all the rain we've had out here in the east. It was really nice to get to a drier climate. And yeah, no, it was fun to meet everybody. Thanks to all the AOPA Live This Week viewers who came by to say hi to us. We had a good time.
We did indeed.
And at the Fly-In, news on how to get a little more pep out of your Cessna. Airplane Services announced 3 new STCs, 260 horsepower upgrades for Cessna 182 ST and the RG models, and a 180 horsepower upgrade for the 172R.
We are able to ship everything out to the customer when they come up for TBO on their engine. Right. Instead of going back to the original horsepower, they can add 30 more, 25 more horsepower, take advantage of the added performance for an easy installation. Basically the cost of overhauling that existing engine.
Airplane Services has a wide range of engine upgrades for Cessna singles. You may remember them as the company that supplied the 180 horsepower upgrade kit for our Cessna 172 sweepstakes airplane 2 years ago. They can do the installation at their Kansas headquarters or ship engine kits anywhere in the world.
And at the Santa Fe Pilot Town Hall, a special moment as AOPA Senior Vice President of Aviation Strategy and Programs, Katie Pribble, introduced the 5,000th inactive pilot to get back in the air through the Rusty Pilots program. Ted Malone flew from Scottsdale, Arizona to Santa Fe and told the audience that the Rusty Pilot seminar really surprised him.
And what really shocked me was, A, the material was simple, well done, put together, delivered by an airline pilot who really knew what he was doing, what he was talking about, and just made it sound like it was so easy.
So easy, in fact, that Ted ran out and immediately found an AME, renewed his medical, and then found a flight school. Now, I had the pleasure to fly with Ted just a few weeks ago in Scottsdale.
Everybody should experience the joy of flight at least once. It's just such an amazing feeling to be able to be up here and, you know, look at how beautiful this is. I mean, this is desert, right? We're in the middle of the desert, but it's still beautiful.
Meet Ted Malone, number 5,000 in the growing group of aviators to complete the Rusty Pilot program and get back in the air.
And it was really interesting picking up the checklist, and just it transported me back 15 years. You know, just walking through the checklist, it was all the same. Everything was the same.
Ted hadn't flown for 15 years because, well, you know why.
You know, life got in the way. I got real busy with with work and the family. And
then he saw an article in AOPA Pilot magazine.
I just thought, well, you know, I'll give it a shot. It's probably going to be more, you know, harder than I think, but I'll give it a shot. I noticed that there was a seminar here in Scottsdale. I mean, I live here in Scottsdale, so I figured I had nothing to lose other than a few hours on a Saturday.
I walked out of it making an appointment with an instructor, you know, the following week, you know, saying, hey, I got to do this, I got to try it. You know, the airplane rotates, and it's like you're doing all of the things from memory that you had learned as a student. I couldn't believe it. You know, the airplane actually lifted off. I'm like, I'm flying this thing. Wow, this is like my first lesson all over again.
Ted now flies at least twice a month because it makes him happy.
Why would you not get back to something that gives you joy?
And Tom, I think Ted really said it best. I mean, why wouldn't you go back to something that gives you joy?
You absolutely would, and that's what we all get out of flying and challenge of flying our own airplanes.
You know, and everyone we talk to who's gone through the Rusty Pilots program says they're surprised at how easy it is and how comfortable they are once they get back into the airplane.
Right. I had a couple of other folks from Santa Fe who came up to me who had done that exactly what he did, had gone through the program, the Rusty Pilots program, and gotten back into flying, and they were having a great time. It's nice to see.
Yep. So get back in the air. You can do it.
So now it's even easier than ever to brush the rust off. The AOPA Rusty Pilots course is now available online. Just like the in-person seminars, Rusty Pilots Online is meant to help get certificated pilots back into the air. It's free for AOPA members. Rusty Pilots Online is funded by the AOPA Foundation and sponsored by Pilot Workshops. We'd still love to have you in person, but check out rustypilots.org as well. And Rusty Pilots is part of AOPA's You Can Fly program, our initiative to build the pilot community.
Yeah, and you know, Tom, we know that building the pilot community is critical to aviation's future. How we do that was part of the FAA's Aviation Workforce Symposium in DC last week. Folks from across the industry came together to talk about solutions to the pilot shortage.
Air travel in the United States and around the world is growing rapidly, with no signs of slowing down. Last year, the International Air Transport Association, IATA, forecast that the number of air passengers traveling will nearly double by 2036. The Boeing Pilot Outlook projects this growth will require 117,000 new pilots in North America alone. But at a time when we need to see interest in aviation careers going up, the data is actually trending in the opposite direction.
Department of Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao said we have to work together to solve the problem.
This issue goes far beyond what the government alone can do. It is incumbent upon all of us to find solutions. This summit was called to bring attention to this critical issue and to convene stakeholders, all of you who are experts, to create a path forward.
During one panel discussion, AOPA's High School Aviation Initiative Director explained how the association is reaching out to younger people.
The main part of our high school initiative really is our curriculum. And when we think about diversity in aviation, our field tests last year of our 9th grade courses that we offered, 22% were girls, 45% were underrepresented groups. And I think if we really want to think about the workforce supply, that's one area where we need to consider. We're getting a lot of great feedback. We have 81 high schools across the country using our 9th grade curriculum for the first time this year. That will be about over 2,000 students, and we anticipate that number to grow significantly. So we're very excited about that.
And university aviation programs are an essential part of drawing new talent to the aviation workforce. Visitors to our Carbondale, Illinois Fly-In on October 5th and 6th will get a chance to see one of these programs in action. Carbondale is home to the Southern Illinois University Aviation Program. AOPA Lives' Josh Cochran has the story about SIU and what Fly-In visitors will get to see there.
Southern Illinois University is training the next generation of aviators at their state-of-the-art facility in Carbondale, Illinois. The university has programs to train pilots and mechanics. The Aviation Technology program is especially unique in the industry.
What kind of sets us apart from other programs is that they're not just here to get their A&P license, they also get a bachelor's degree when they leave here, and they specialize by having at least 1 year of training in a niche area.
This hangar full of eclectic airplanes shows the variety of aircraft the students at SAU get to work on.
I looked at other schools, but SIU has the best facilities, in my opinion, out of the ones I had looked at.
And the students in the flight program get a chance to fly a variety of aircraft.
We have a great fleet of aircraft, anywhere from a 52, which is an amazing trainer. It's actually one of my favorites, all the way up to 310s that you do our multi-training in. And the fleet is so much fun to fly. You get a varied array of avionics, from your standard six-pack all the way up to, G1000 fleet and everything in between.
The hardware isn't all that makes SIU unique. The people are the greatest asset.
The combination of people that we have makes this program very unique. From top to bottom, the flight instructors that we have here are all very knowledgeable, very hardworking individuals. And our students are great as well, all very hardworking also. And it's great to watch them put in the effort and see them succeed through this program.
And SAU provides their students with a variety of career opportunities once they graduate.
Our program also has a lot of partnerships with airlines. That allows us to funnel students towards where that demand is greatest and train them for that type of job.
All this adds up to SIU students being valuable assets in the aviation industry.
I'm starting to look for jobs now, and it's not uncommon to hear somebody say, we're really looking for SIU grads. We know they're on top of their stuff. We know they're the people that we're looking for.
Josh Cochran, AOPA Live.
Visitors to the Carbondale Fly-In will get a chance to see SIU's aviation facilities and meet the students in person.
And if you can't get to our Midwest Fly-In, consider the AOPA Fly-In to Gulf Shores, presented by the Alabama Department of Transportation Aeronautics Bureau. It's October 26th and 27th. There are miles of beautiful beaches for your family to enjoy. The locals tell us that the water will still be warm that time of year, so come on down to the Gulf Coast for some fun, y'all. You can find all the details on our website.
Coming up after the break, history being made in the Red Bull Air Race.
And history being remembered. We'll be right back.
You always knew it was your perfect airplane. Now it can have the perfect panel. Garmin G500 TXI and Garmin G600 TXI, the next generation of flight displays.
Number 8 Shanka, 59.288 seconds. No penalties. Currently holds you in first place.
A history-making win in the Red Bull Air Race. Martin Shanka is the first pilot to win 3 races in a row. The Czech racer earning that honor this past weekend in Wiener Neustadt, Austria. The final 2 races of the season are here in the U.S., including the Indianapolis Motor Speedway on October 6th and 7th. AOPA is hosting a pilot town hall and pancake breakfast in conjunction with that. Find out more at aopa.org/RBAR. And we've got something very special to share with you. We've been working really hard on it. AOPA is publishing a coffee table book called Freedom to Fly. Through beautiful photographs and highly researched writing from the AOPA magazine team, we detail the history of your association from its founding in 1939. We also look at the history of general aviation through the years. You'll hear more about it in the coming weeks, but learn more at aopa.org/freedom-to-fly book. If you order by December 5th, it will be there in time for the holidays. Tom, I know this has been a project that's pretty close to your heart.
Yes, it has been a heavy lift, but it's going to be a beautiful book, 288 pages, hardback with some of the great photography that people have come to expect from us. And all the editors in the magazine have contributed. I wrote a chapter, and I've written a bunch of sidebars, and everybody else on the team has been working really hard on it. So we're really proud of it. It's going to be done in a few weeks, so I hope you'll give it a try.
It'd be a great Christmas present.
It would be. And finally this week, fall is here, and along with it comes some of the best flying weather of the year. AOPA Online Associate Editor David Toulis brings us the story about a fall flying destination where you can find some aviation history to go along with your $100 hamburger.
On a beautiful South Carolina day, the historic Curtiss-Wright Hangar at the L.B. Owens Airport draws dozens of visitors enjoying the grounds and the atmosphere. But the hangar has only recently returned to being a vibrant part of the airport. Built in 1929, the hangar at Owens Field was used by the Curtiss-Wright Flying Service, an aviation powerhouse that operated hundreds of airplanes. The airport hosted many well-known aviators, including Amelia Earhart. Despite all the history, in the 1960s the hangar fell into disuse and sat neglected for decades.
I think every person who drove by it at the time thought it would be a cool use for something, whether it was a house fantasy or just restoring it in some capacity.
It took years of work to bring the old hangar back to life.
The task is just daunting. The 1,644 window panes, keeping the insulation and the energy efficient qualities was something we had to keep in mind, but we had to also really stick to the historical qualities of the building as it was originally built.
The beautifully restored hangar now houses the Hunter-Gatherer Brewery, where visitors enjoy sitting at the outdoor bar or just inside the hangar doors, eating pizza, drinking a beer, and watching the airplanes.
We quickly have learned that we're a place that people want to come and hang out. We're not so much a bar or so much a restaurant. I think we're kind of different than that in that it's halfway a place to get beer, food, halfway like a park.
And the customers love it.
The history here is really beautiful, the open space, the way the air, you can see the train. If you're lucky, you'll see a couple flights going in and out, so it's a really nice space out here.
A day like this, where everyone is outside enjoying the airport, makes all the hard work of restoring the hangar worth it. David Toulis, AOPA Live.
If you're looking for more destinations to fly to, you can get them in your inbox with our Travel Pilots newsletter. What a great use of an old hangar.
Indeed, and of course it goes without saying, don't drink and fly.
But yes, it does.
Yes, we do have people remind us of that.
We do, but you can fly and then have a drink while you're watching everybody else fly.
Right. And that will do it for this edition. We'll hope you'll join us back here again for the next one.
And let us know what you think about the show. Our email address is aopalive@aopa.org. See you next week.
Build and fly with the Sonex Aircraft B models. The B models offer more room and comfort, more fuel, more panel space, more engine choices, and the same great Sonex Aircraft flight characteristics. Learn more at sonexaircraft.com.